All right, here we are again. I told you. I told you. I said see you in a week. That's exactly what I'm doing right now. Um, Although to be fair, I will admit that I totally like procrastinated doing this all day. Anyway, this entire week, like after I uploaded that video, I was scared to write like a old cartoon character. And just because I'm like, wow, like I'm really just uploading this to the internet and like it's not like there's nothing I can do about it, but like, I've already promised myself that I was going to. So it's like, okay, we're putting this in motion now. We're really going. So yeah, that's like, it's scary, it's terrifying. I will say that after um I uploaded it, I was really happy with myself. I was still scared. I was still like, oh my gosh, like people are gonna see this. And you know what? I see a couple of you. I saw like there's like 6 views already within like an hour. And I'm like, I didn't check since because I'm like, you know what? I'm just not gonna torture myself like that. That's six more than I was expecting. Like I was kind of expecting this to just be like, okay, nobody look, whatever. I slept pretty soundly that night actually. And just like throughout the week, I started to just, look forward to this day. I started to look forward to my next one, which I'm doing right now. And not only that, but I was also looking at like what to do next and what other projects I want to do and what have been meaning to do. Since, this whole thing, this like Minecraft thing, it's mainly supposed to be sort of like a heartbeat for me, if that makes sense. Um, its main intended goal is, it is about talking and like kind of sharing my perspective on things, but its also main intended goal for me is to provide myself a place to make sure I'm continuously uploading, and not just for the sake of the uploading itself, but for the habit building that it provides, and to also like kind of lower my anxieties and stuff like that. Now, of course, this is being publicly displayed, which is like kind of weird, but again, I feel like there's probably I know it like feels a little I feel a little strange about that, honestly, but again, like the point is that like, hey, if someone gets helped by this, if someone's inspired by it, then like, it's worth whatever like embarrassment I might feel about it. Man, I came on here to like say something else, but then I just started recording, and then I'm like, hey, it's working. So listen to me next time, when you're worried all day about like what to say, because honestly, I still have that issue. I think I'm just in a good mood right now. Well, good enough mood. The talking mood where I have like the ability to talk about things. Because definitely even earlier today, I just wanted to record a little voice note just for myself, not for YouTube or whatever. And like as soon as like I saw like the timer start ticking and I knew I was recording, like it just became so much harder to speak and I like locked up. I don't know, maybe it's like the consumption of like resources that like sort of gets me. Like I very much have I don't know, I only say syndrome because it has a ring to it, but like sticker sheet syndrome. It's not a syndrome. I'm not a doctor. No one's diagnosed it, but like basically, um, I think I actually have like a legitimate piece of proof to go with this as well. But you ever get like a sticker sheet as a kid, or like I don't, or just whatever? You just get something consumable, but like it's somewhat like limited and like precious. Or I guess another example is like, if you're in a video game and you're playing through story mode and you get like, rare strong items, but you only have like a few of them, so you just like hang on to them for the entire game. And like, so you're meant to use it against like the boss or whatever, but then you don't even use it because you're like, what about another boss? And you just beat the game with like all these OP items that you never used. I'm pretty sure I still have this one sticker sheet that I got when I was like, I don't know, 8 or 9 or something. And because I remember cleaning my room like not too long ago, and I remember coming across it. I'm like, no way. It's just like these little like foil, um, I don't know, like sports. Like I don't think one's like a badminton racket or something. I don't know. It's just like this like thing that you know, your mom gets you at the dollar store. I was like, this is cool, this is so precious. I want to like, you know, use this for the right thing. And well, it ended up sitting in my drawer and forgetting about it. And like, even though the times I probably come across it have been like, okay, this is cool. Anyway, I'm gonna use this for like something cool in the future, and puts it back in the drawer. And then now it's like, I don't know, like 17 years later or whatever. But yeah, I do that. I have that. I have the issue. Just stop yapping for a second, collect my thoughts. Okay, you know what I did do? I was gonna say how I mentioned in the last video. It's like, wow, you know, it'd be really good for organizing my thoughts. Just little like notes off to like the side, so I could like keep track and like not lose track, because that's how keeping track works. Uh, um, and then I realized like, oh, I forgot to do that. Like, I just didn't do it at all. Um, so I was gonna be like, oh well, I'll just do this without it. And I was like, you know what? No, I'm gonna pause. I'm gonna go off. I'm gonna write just some little bullet points for me of like what I want to cover, and that's exactly what I did. So, oh, you know what? I have another bullet point to add to it, which I don't think I'm gonna cover in this one because I don't want it to be, gosh, like 40 minutes long. If it's gonna extend, if it's gonna go on longer, then I want it to, you know, I want to split it up. Anyway, what I did want to talk about today was just like, well, I guess number one, very related to like how I'm recording this video right now. And it's just Saturday night at like 3 a.m. I was gonna like go to bed. It's originally I was sort of like planning to do this today or even like yesterday. But anyway, Saturday comes by and I literally spend the entire day doing like basically nothing. Like, okay, I didn't do like literally nothing. I don't know, I just played video games all day. And it wasn't like I intended to. It's not like I chose to. It's like I sat down, I was like, yes, this is what I want to do all day. In fact, I sat down with the intention of doing this. Anyway, I was feeling pretty sleepy, but I was just like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna like warm up to it. I'll probably just like screw around for a little bit, wake up a bit, and then I'll, you know, do this. It's only like what, like 10 minutes. What's the big dealio, right? But then like, you know, 2 hours turns into three, three turns into five, five turns into eight, and now I didn't realize all of a sudden it's now midnight. And I'm like, oh crap. I did not do like anything. I could have at least done like some other work or at least like worked on something else. I just didn't end up doing anything. Because like I think again, just in the back of my mind, like I knew I was gonna do this. I knew I was gonna do this at some point and I was gonna push myself to. But I think I was just still a little anxious about it, honestly. I was still a little scared. I don't know. I think for a lot of the day, I would just, again, I would probably just hit record and be like, okay, now what do I say? And you know what? Sometimes maybe I don't need to have a lot to say. I don't know, it's just gonna happen. I gotta get myself to keep going. I gotta show up. I gotta show up for myself like that. I'm starting to reconsider whether or not, like, the whole Minecraft format is actually kind of smart because, like, I'm using all my brain power to, like, think of what to say. And this isn't. That's why I'm just running around idly because I feel like I'm just aimlessly doing something as like my mind just like stalls for time. Just how I work. I guess that's just how I work. This isn't how I work normally. This isn't how I work off camera. Although arguably I don't know how much better that is. It's probably just different. Just to summarize, I ended up procrastinating all day and I don't know, it was partially conscious, partially subconscious. Like I wouldn't choose to like just sit down and be like, yeah, I don't want to do this. I'm just gonna like stall for time. Because again, I'm the one who's being accountable to myself here. Like I can't hide that from myself and all I'd do is just feel bad. Even if there was someone external to hide it from, I'd probably just feel bad anyway. I did write a little bit today for a video I plan in the future, which I've had like little bits and pieces of scripts over the past couple years because it's a pretty big part of my life that I want to cover. This all just probably sounds like so pathetic, like just like detailing, okay, yeah, I I made 1 penny today, and then I pressed another tomorrow, so then I have 2 cents to my name. Um, so this shouldn't be this hard, and I know exactly why this is hard. I'm not saying it yet because we're gonna get to that in the future, but there's plenty of reasons as to why that is. Right as I was about to sort of go to bed, I just started to think, and then just it sort of came to me. Just the thoughts just all sort of came together in the way that they usually do when you're not in front of your workspace or in a place where you can actually make use of it. And I thought like, okay, you know what? No, I'm just gonna why not? Like I'm just gonna turn this on. I'm gonna try yapping a little bit, see if it works out. I feel like this is pretty good. The stars are aligning a little bit again for me. Kind of like that New Year's video. It's just how I felt. Where I was like, yeah, okay, I feel good. I feel like I can do this. Let's do it. Like, I don't know if that's necessarily practice. I don't know if that's necessarily just still conforming to old habits of just, doing it when I feel like I can do it. But, I'm going to appreciate the good days, and there will also be bad days. And I'm going to try and make sure I can still show up on the bad days as well. What got me thinking about this is that I was going through some of my older art that I draw. But yeah, I was looking at my old art, and when I got my new drawing tablet, like 3 years ago, like it was just such a night and day difference from any hardware I ever tried before. I did always have a lot of problems with like hardware, and just like it was just very clunky and cumbersome, and I never had an actual drawing tablet. So like now going from this to something with pressure sensitivity, and it was like a display and everything, like it was just such a night and day difference for me. And I got so into drawing again. Like I wasn't drawing as intensely as I probably would have been if I got into it years earlier, but I was still like, I was going off. I was still giving it a shot. I was still kind of bad, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, not like bad, but I was still pretty inexperienced. I wasn't very confident, and like a lot of the time, again, I like to think any sort of art form, like music or visual arts or any skill, is like learning a language. And like the ideas in my head, like when I would sit down and try and draw, and I just couldn't translate them onto like the actual monitor, like the paper or whatever. It was usually just like a letdown. But that eventually started stopping. I started getting pretty good, and this drawing tablet helped because like it was just there. I could always just kind of kick it open. I haven't used it as much as I would like to at this point, but I still had a period where I had a lot of fun with it. And I did fall off kind of in the past year and a half, but I was looking at in my archive of like some of my work that I did. And I'm like thinking like, wow, I'm like getting nostalgic for like a year and a half ago. And I was looking back, and I'm like just kind of, I don't know, I do this to myself. I'll right click, I'll look at the properties and look at the date modified and see like when I've created these pieces or whatever, like when I drew these things. And I'll just see like, wow, like dang, that was 2, 3 years ago. Like that was like late 2023, like early 2024. And I'm just thinking like, dang, I fell off. Like what have I drawn? Like what have I seriously committed to drawing and passed by? Like maybe like last summer, the last fully colored image I did was like Christmas 2024, like around that time. And I'm just thinking like, wow, it's been that long, that much time has passed. And like what has happened since then? Well, I think like, number one, all of this stuff I'm talking about has sort of taken its toll on me. It's I would say depression has set in. I don't think it's interesting realizing that like dang, depression can just kind of be like silent in the background. Or it's not like how it's usually portrayed in media, where it's like, dang, I'm like so sad all the time, and like there's nothing I can do about it. It's like, okay, there's definitely cases like that, but there's also times where it can present as just having like a sort of lack of motivation to do things. And again, I would disagree with this, because I would say I think I'm very motivated. I have a lot of goals and ambition, but I think I was confusing ambition for motivation. I would say I'm a very ambitious person, but the actual sort of action that is needed to realize those ambitions was something that I lacked. And I noticed that over the course of my life, over the course of these past 10 years, that started to decrease. It started to dwindle. Now there was periods of times where it would spike and I would encounter something novel like this drawing tablet, and I would spark right back up again with this new thing that I would try. But in the back of my mind, I was always still thinking about the things that I wasn't doing, like this channel. It would kind of haunt me for the longest part of my life, and again, that's also why I'm forcing myself to do this, because like I just can't, you know, enough is enough, you know? It gathers my thoughts. I do try and look at those times and try and learn like what made that sort of special, what made things work in those certain scenarios. And at least for me, you know, again, I think it was just sort of like the novelty. There was like a lack of pressure. I think I almost have to change my perspective with how I see this channel, because I think that's actually probably one of the things that stopped me from starting and made me so anxious about this all this time, because I've set these expectations which just climb with time, and they don't need to remain that way. I can achieve them at my own pace if I really want to. I did have ambitions for what I wanted it to be, but those ambitions eventually sort of, I guess, grew to the point where I was too afraid to make a move. I started to think like I have to really like up my game. I have to be good at this first before I can present myself. Okay. So I'm actually recording this again on the next day because right in the middle of like when I was talking, the PC crashed. And I don't know, it does this weird thing that I'm still trying to figure out what's going on. I don't know if it's like a driver, like graphics driver issue or something that it's I don't know, it's something, but like my whole like desktop manager will just like soft lock and everything will just like start like falling apart. It's like, I don't know, something breaks and then it's just like like you could just see it like fall apart in front of your eyes, like windows just start freezing and closing, like the my wallpaper and like taskbar just disappear, and I can't like use commands to open a terminal, because like, you know, normally I'd be like, okay, open a terminal or command prompt, whatever, restart the Windows manager so that I can bring it back up. I can't do that. I can't do that. I can't even use like the TTY whatever it's called. I don't know. I'm not a good Linux user. Okay, I don't know what's going on. Anyway, but I'm back. I don't know. This probably isn't good for the health of my computer long term. I had something similar on my last computer, so I'd be pretty disappointed if that same curse ends up haunting me here with like graphics display drivers and stuff just breaking things and causing my computer. Fun thing about procrastination is that I also just did that again today, because I'm recording this at night. I could have easily like just come back and done this again like the next morning, which is what I kind of intended to. But no, here you are. This is the other thing that happens. This is kind of what usually happens in most cases. Yeah, I don't necessarily, not that I don't necessarily like feel like talking, but like, you know, sometimes just, you know, I'm knowing gonna hit record, and like everything will just like, you know, the cloud of fog will descend upon me, and like there's not much. It's just really it's just really annoying to deal with. If I could take like the part of me that is like, I don't know, like when I'm like, I don't know, in the shower or in the car, like, or on a walk with like my headphones. I don't know, just like, you know, those places where like you just are really kind of like alone with your thoughts and you can like really sort of get going. Like I need to like, if I can bring that and just have that like on demand. Although I don't necessarily, I believe it's something that's like, oh, I can just summon it whenever. I think it's more of like an environmental thing with like this. Um, because again, like I'm just anxious. And honestly, like I would never really took myself as to be someone who has like stage fright. I kind of like the idea of like if I were to like, you know, go up on stage and like talk in front of people. Like I've done it in the past when I was a lot younger. I like the idea of it, but like actually doing it seems to be just, you know, a whole other thing. Oh my goodness, look at you. I didn't know wolves could look like that. My gosh, I don't have any bones. But y'all are adorable, oh my goodness. Look at you. Woof. I love dogs. I love dogs so much. Like, genuinely. I love, like, animals in general. Like, they're just so sweet. They're so nice. Like I've only ever like really interacted with like, you know, domestic animals, really like dogs and cats and stuff. I have made friends with a like, I don't know, I say friends because I'm just humanizing them, or like I'm just anthropomorphizing or whatever the term is, where you're just adding human traits to like wild animals. But like there's this one duck that like I was at this creek that's near my house I like to go to sometimes to like kind of chill at and like think. And I was just kind of like chilling there on this like rock in the middle of the water, and there's this like duck who kind of like came by and like floated, and he just kind of like ended up chilling like six or so feet away from me, and just kind of like sat down and just started like I guess like roosting or whatever, and it was just like chilling with me for like a whole like half hour. It felt like, and then like I went up to go. I was like, all right, see you later, and he kind of started like following me until like I started like walking away from the river. And I was like, that is like so adorable. Like, oh my goodness, I loved him. I felt chosen. I felt honored. Like, I didn't even have anything to give this duck. I guess they just liked my energy. So now, again, like I'm just some like, at this point, like nobody knows me on the internet and stuff, but I was raised with that whole mindset of like anything you upload online is like online forever for like potentially anybody to see. And I think I just take that to heart. And I don't think it's a bad attitude to have, especially like nowadays with like, you know, how easy it is to just like have your data collected. And like, you know, I try to have like be somewhat responsible, but I think it has also sort of like led to a feeling like of being entirely afraid to share myself online. I'm like so cooked. Like I am I am so mentally cooked, but like I don't give up. I don't give up easy. Just because I'm mentally cooked doesn't mean I'm a quit. It just means it needs to take me more time until I can figure out how to live my life. I was given a weird hand. I was given a weird deck of cards, and learning how to play them has been a very long process. I still feel like I'm just starting to learn how to play them properly. I think in the future I'm going to start scripting a little bit more. When my computer crashed, my little notes that I did that I was talking about disappeared too because, you know, I didn't save it, of course. Every post, I'm going to try to just be a little better than I was last time. And that's what I'm going to try to do. So I look forward to seeing you again. And like I said I was going to see you in a week, and I'm going to see y'all again in another week. I'm already kind of excited for it. So see you later.